The biggest Celtics fan out there, one of the biggest Celtics fans in New England, that'll be Bill Belichick. He's always kind of hanging around, Megan. He's always at Celtics games. He always has been. No matter who is coaching them, always kind of like hanging around courtside, talking to ownership, talking to the head coaches, always trying to figure out something, trying to pick up some tips that he can apply to his coaching game when it comes to football. But Bill Belichick aside, he's biased. He wants Boston to win, so you can't really go to him for an objective take on the NBA Finals. That's where you come in. I see in your feed, Megan, that you say Warriors in 7. You got the Warriors in 7?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
I got the Warriors, and I might be biased because I do like Steph Curry as a player, and also the Warriors did just beat my team, the Memphis Grizzlies. But when you watch the Warriors, I do think what we've heard, the conversation about experience, I do think experience means a lot. Like, I saw it when it comes to taking on us in that second round in the Western Conference, and like how the experience like came into factor into fruition. And yes, when you look at the Boston Celtics, I do think that's going to be a huge difference, especially when you're going to have Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr kind of like lead that charge, as well as Klay Thompson. And then the Celtics, like no one's ever been here before. The fact that Al Horford, who led the NBA for most playoff games without making it to the NBA Finals, he doesn't have to walk around with that crown anymore. And we saw him like drop down to his knees. And yes, that says a lot, but you think about Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, like I truly like respect them and I love what the Celtics have done this season, especially from what they built from January until now. But I do think for the Warriors, I want to see them win it all. And it'll make me feel better too. It'll make me feel better as a Grizzlies fan. It's like, okay, now I know why we had to be a part of their story. So that now makes it okay for me. But you picked the Warriors as well, right?
No.
You picked the Celtics?
No. I picked the Celtics. I think the Celtics match up beautifully with the Golden State Warriors. So just in my troll space, I had Celtics in 5.
Okay.
Just to get, ooh, what? In 5? Oh, that's disrespectful. But I would not be surprised. I really believe Celtics in 6. Now, tell me where I'm wrong here. Tell me where I'm wrong, because this is what I think. I've heard the Celtics say, not that it's completely analogous, but I've heard the Celtics say, playing Miami, which was the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league. Believe it or not, Miami, in terms of shooting percentage, number 1 in the league from 3. You would never guess that, especially the way they shot through most of that series. But the Celtics said, playing Miami and going through all those actions and seeing what the offense was trying to do helps prepare them for Golden State. Okay, I get it. Just as I think that playing Memphis helps Golden State prepare for Boston. Not the same, but take Memphis, and this is the reason I think Memphis gave Golden State so much trouble. Like, Denver is not a good defensive team. They're just that they don't have those kind of defenders. They don't have those switchable guys, physical guys who get up on you and you got to worry about it. Dallas, their best player is a bad defender, Luka. And they have some decent defenders on the team, but like team-wide, that's not their ethic, that's not their identity. Memphis is. Oh, Memphis is about it. And I think Boston's about it too. I think Boston is better than Memphis. I think they have more to prepare for. They give Golden State more to prepare for than Memphis did. I think this is I think it's going to be a really tough matchup for Golden State. I'm looking forward to it, but I think it's tough. What do you think?
So the reason why I have in my thing, like I say Warriors in 7, but it won't be an upset if the Celtics win, because like I agree with you. I agree with you when it comes to the matchup. I agree with the style of play. Where I do think for Golden State, I think this is going to be their biggest competition that they have seen. When you think about the Celtics, and yes, the Celtics have had, I would say, even like a harder opponents and throughout their journey to get here with, I know we don't give a lot of credit to Brooklyn, but you went up against KD and Kyrie, so you got Brooklyn, you got the Bucks in 7, you had to take on the Heat to make it to 7. Now with Golden State, I do think for Golden State, they're a great defensive team, and that's what I saw. And maybe that's what I saw when they took on the Grizzlies, how great of defense that they are. And not only that, but like how of a great team, they like play with that fast pace. They're a great offensive rebounding team. We saw them where the Grizzlies led the league in rebounding. I was like, okay, Grizzlies, we got this. But then you see the Golden State Warriors out rebounding us, getting it inside the paint. They were able to outscore inside the paint. Their 3-point shot never was like as impressive as it was in Game 6, but they were able to outscore the Grizzlies in so many other factors. But with Golden State Warriors, when you have a guy like Steph Curry, and I think the biggest next question is going to be if Gary Payton II and Otto Porter Jr. come up, and then also if Andre Iguodala is available, I think Golden State's going to have that advantage, and especially when it comes to the reserve players. When it comes to those bench points, I mean, if Jordan Poole can maybe get back to Jordan Poole that we saw, especially against the Nuggets in that series, if he can play like that against the Grizzlies, if Jordan Poole can be that guy, I don't think the Celtics have an answer for them when it comes to bench points. And for the Celtics, Robert Williams, that is the biggest question, is like, how healthy is he really? And how healthy is Marcus Smart? Let's not forget, the guy has a quad, calf, and foot injury. I mean, there's so many injuries that he does have that Marcus Smart is playing through. So I do think for Golden State, it's going to take them further, and that's why I say Golden State in 7.
Yeah, see, Robert Williams, that's a good point on Robert Williams, because he's a guy who clearly had a meniscus injury, and he came back against Brooklyn, and a lot of people second guess. It's a good second guess, too. You're already up 2-0 on Brooklyn going there. You know you're going to win that series, although they didn't know that. But you're up 2-0 on Brooklyn. Why not hold out Rob Williams for another week, get him ready for the Milwaukee series so he's not, touch and go throughout the playoffs? But I just think that's an easy second guess. He came back early. And you know what, Megan, it told me something. And I always love watching celebrations. I told you I love this stuff. I love it. So I'll watch it. I don't care if I'm invested, if I know the people or not. I just like to see how people react when something great happens and hear the commentary, because you can hear a lot, you can pick up a lot of stuff. So I'm watching the Celtics celebration. We get inside locker room access, and Ime Udoka walks into the room, and they all spray him with champagne. Okay, they calm down, and he says a few words. But you know what he said? And a lot of people miss this. He said, "All right, hey guys, we made it interesting, but here we are. We got 4 more to go. All the stuff you'd expect." And he said, "I want to applaud Rob, who's playing in pain, who's playing through pain. And, gave us some minutes tonight." And the crowd, in the locker room, applauds. So look, there's your tip. He's hurt. We know he's hurt. It's not like so it's a matter of what you said. How effective will he be, and what's his pain tolerance? I don't think they would. I think he's hurt and not injured. If he's injured, and it was right there, and he's right in this scene, he shouts out Rob Williams. But I don't think they would throw an injured guy out there knowing that injury can get worse. But a guy who's coming back and's got some soreness, that's Rob Williams' story right now. Can he deal with that and be an effective player? I think that might be a huge key in this series. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and don't forget, do you remember when he first got injured and like the prediction of how many weeks he was going to be out? He came back so fast, and we were all shocked to be like, "Oh wow!" We were like, "Okay, great for him. He was able to come back so quickly." And yes, he was effective, and the Celtics did need him. But you do wonder now, as we get so further on down the road, I do think they needed him. But as what we've seen from the last 2 games against the Heat, is he's playing through a lot, and is that going to hurt them, especially when you have a guy like Kevon Looney, who is all of a sudden, since Game 6 against the Grizzlies, has come into his own and has figured out the type of player that he's going to be for the Golden State Warriors, which has been a huge factor, especially when it comes to the offensive glass, is what that's going to look like. I still think that even without Robert Williams, is a huge question. For Boston, I wouldn't say that takes away everything from them, because from what we've seen against the Golden State, they could very well, if Golden State plays small, the Celtics could play small. And like Robert Williams, you can make those changes where he doesn't have to be as much of a factor, especially if you're going to have Al Horford and Grant Williams. And Grant Williams has been, he played at Tennessee, so I follow Grant Williams a little bit from his career in college.
I know that's a local, that's a home team connection right there, to home state.
I never thought Grant Williams, like, I mean, I've given a lot of credit to Al Horford, to Rob, but Grant Williams has also been the guy where I was like, I would have never, ever thought he was going to be this type of player, especially when it comes to like coming off the bench sometimes, or if he has to start if someone's hurt. But he's been great, and if he can knock down shots like he had been, I mean, I really do go up and down with my pick. I really do. I'm always like, well, it won't be an upset. The Celtics don't surprise me, but I really do think Golden State. I do think just that experience alone is going to be like just huge, huge. And something else that Ime Udoka said in that moment when they were celebrating, I didn't catch the statement about Robert Williams. What I caught was the whole statement about we didn't just come here to put up an Eastern Conference banner. And part of me was like, well, for the Celtics, you've been trying to get over this hump, for a couple of years now. You're excited to put up that banner, but you do know for Jason Tatum, and especially for Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, they have been those three guys, the puzzle pieces of like, could this work? Is it not going to work? They made all the changes when it comes to, Brad Stevens going to the front office and Ime Udoka, not everyone thinking Ime Udoka. I really do think that it's still a lot of pressure on the Boston Celtics. Celtics fan base, they're crazy. I lived in Boston for 16 months and I counted. And the fan base there is ridiculous. They also didn't come here just to put up an Eastern Conference banner.
You said 16 months in Boston.
16. 1-6.
For what? Why?
I was in Boston. I was covering lacrosse. I worked at Lax Sports Network and I did lacrosse and love the sport. I learned a lot about lacrosse. Boston and I, just that cold. I just never want to see a shovel. I never want to shovel myself out of a parking spot.
So you did shovel?
I did. I lived in Connecticut too for a year. And Boston was different. I had to get out of my car and push my car. Yeah. And I called my dad. I said, Lord, this ain't it. This is not it. And I didn't have a man too for me, so I had to do it myself, which I'm all here for, to be Superwoman.
No. Come on. No, we're all about equality. Okay, especially when there's a snowstorm, we're all about equality. All right. So wait, you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me it's like 20 inches of snow out there? You're like, hey, Bubba, get up. Come on. Go shovel. Or get like a snowplow. Really?
I'm not.
But I'll tell you what would be romantic though, Meghan, if y'all did it together. You shovel snow together. Help each other out.
I know it's your wife would be like, no. She'd be like, is this stuff?
Yeah.
You'd be like,
I know. I know. Yeah, that's right. I am. I'm the shoveler, but I like it. It's great. I'll tell you this. It's great exercise. Because I've always lived in cold weather cities, and I'm always surprised when snow comes. But the good thing is, it'll keep you in shape. I've lived in Cleveland, Akron, Pittsburgh, Boston, Chicago. So I always flock to these cold weather places and do it. But I do have an issue. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm just going to bring it up. And he knows who he is. I'm shoveling because I once went in with a neighbor of mine, former neighbor of mine. We a snowstorm was coming. He was like, man, we got to get something. Like, we can't just be shoveling out here. So we went in together. We bought like a machine, it's like a toy for grown-ups, to shovel the snow. And I moved, and he didn't say anything. He kind of like jacked my. That's half mine, right? That's half mine. And I think he should either give me some money, or he should allow me to come by anytime and use that for the snowstorms. What do you think?
I think, you know what, because you seem like a great person, and I feel like you probably came at him in a very respectful way, I do think that he should let you use it anytime. I do. I
need some money. I'm gonna hit him up. Small claims court. I want my money back, or I want my snowplow.
No, you can't be that person.
No,
that might come off a little bit. You'd be like, dude, you're on TV. You're worried about a snowplow?
Oh, yeah, see, that's the problem. And Meghan, we know this is not true. People see you on TV and they think, oh, you can afford it. You on TV. That doesn't mean anything. It means that there's a camera right here. There's a camera right there.
The easy solution is what do you have against the South? Like you said, all these places, but like, why can't you just come down to the South where you don't have to worry about this? And don't worry, if it even like just like a dusting of snow, everything's closed. You don't have to shovel yourself out.
Good. That's a good thought. You're putting a thought in my head here. I'm not against the South. I'm not against
Come on to Memphis. Come on to Memphis.
I tell you though, if you're recruiting that next man though, you gotta lighten up on the snow requirements. I mean, it's just like, especially if you wind up in the Northeast, that's a lot of snow. Some years it's just every other week there's some kind of blizzard. So
I'm not out there shoveling. No, that's not my thing.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.